As Queen Elizabeth II's reign unfolded, there emerged a series of defining moments that not only shaped her legacy but also solidified her role as a symbol of resilience and continuity in a rapidly changing world. This chapter explores the key speeches and actions that encapsulated her commitment to her nation and her unwavering sense of duty. One of the earliest defining moments occurred on her coronation day, June 2, 1953. The event was a grand spectacle watched by millions around the globe, but for Elizabeth, it was much more than a ceremonial occasion. It marked the beginning of her lifelong dedication to her role as monarch. In her coronation oath, she promised to serve her people faithfully and uphold the laws of the land. "I solemnly promise so to do," she declared, her voice steady and resolute, a pledge that would resonate throughout her reign. In the years that followed, Elizabeth's speeches became pivotal moments that articulated the values and aspirations of the monarchy. One such speech came during the 1957 Christmas broadcast, where she addressed a nation grappling with post-war challenges. "This is a time for courage and for determination," she proclaimed, emphasizing the need for unity and resilience in the face of adversity. Her words not only provided comfort but also instilled a sense of hope among the British people during a period of uncertainty. As the 1960s unfolded, Elizabeth found herself navigating the complexities of a rapidly evolving society. The decade was marked by significant social change, and her ability to adapt to these shifts became evident during her visit to the United States in 1965. During her address to a joint session of Congress, she spoke of the enduring bond between the United Kingdom and the United States. "We stand united in our commitment to freedom and democracy," she stated, reinforcing the importance of transatlantic cooperation in an increasingly interconnected world. Another defining moment came during the 1977 Silver Jubilee, where Elizabeth reflected on her 25 years as Queen. In her address, she expressed gratitude to the people for their loyalty and support. "I have been fortunate to serve a nation rich in diversity and talent," she acknowledged, recognizing the contributions of her subjects to the fabric of British society. This moment of reflection not only celebrated her reign but also highlighted her understanding of the monarchy's role in fostering a sense of national identity. One of the most significant speeches in Elizabeth's reign occurred in 1992, during a year marked by personal and public challenges, including the separation of several royal family members and the fire at Windsor Castle. In her address to the nation, she referred to the year as her Annus Horribilis. 1992 is not a year on which I shall look back with undiluted pleasure," she candidly admitted, demonstrating her willingness to confront difficulties head-on. This moment showcased her authenticity and humanized the monarchy during a time when public trust was wavering. Elizabeth's actions during the aftermath of the Windsor Castle fire further solidified her commitment to the monarchy. Rather than retreating into the safety of tradition, she publicly addressed the need for restoration and modernization. "Windsor Castle is a symbol of our heritage, and we must ensure its preservation for future generations," she stated, affirming her dedication to both the history and the future of the monarchy. Her decision to open the castle to the public during restoration efforts was a pivotal moment that illustrated her understanding of the changing relationship between the monarchy and the British people. The turn of the millennium brought another defining moment when Elizabeth delivered her first-ever televised Christmas message in 2000, acknowledging the impact of technology on society. We are witnessing a transformation in the way we communicate and connect with one another, she noted, recognizing the importance of embracing change. Her willingness to adapt to the digital age illustrated her foresight and commitment to remaining relevant in an increasingly modern world. The events surrounding the death of Princess Diana in 1997 marked another pivotal moment in Elizabeth's reign. The public mourning and media scrutiny put the monarchy under unprecedented pressure. Elizabeth's initial response to the tragedy was met with criticism, as many believed she was out of touch with public sentiment. However, she quickly recognized the need to address the nation's grief. In a rare moment of vulnerability, she expressed her condolences during a televised address. "We are all united in our sadness," she stated, acknowledging the profound loss felt across the nation. This action demonstrated her ability to adapt to the expectations of her people and the changing dynamics of the monarchy. Elizabeth's final defining moment came in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. In a rare address to the nation, she offered words of solace and hope during a time of uncertainty and isolation. "We will meet again," she reassured her subjects, echoing the sentiments of resilience that had defined her reign. This message resonated deeply, providing comfort to millions and underscoring her role as a source of stability during a crisis. Throughout her reign, Elizabeth's defining moments encapsulated her unwavering commitment to duty, her ability to adapt to societal changes, and her dedication to her people. Each speech and action served as a testament to her belief in the monarchy's role as a pillar of strength and continuity. As she reflected on these moments, Elizabeth understood that leadership required not only authority but also empathy and a willingness to connect with her subjects. While the public often saw Queen Elizabeth II as a stoic symbol of continuity and tradition, the reality behind the curtain was far more complex. This chapter delves into the private lives of the royal family, exploring the dynamics, relationships, and personal challenges that shaped Elizabeth's life beyond the public eye. The royal family often found themselves navigating a delicate balance between their public personas and private realities. At the heart of this dynamic was Elizabeth's marriage to Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Their union, while grounded in mutual respect and shared duty, faced its own set of challenges. Philip, often seen as the Queen's steadfast supporter, struggled with the constraints of royal life. He longed for a sense of individuality, often finding himself overshadowed by Elizabeth's role as sovereign. "Sometimes I feel like a mere footnote in history," he confided to Elizabeth during a quiet evening at Windsor. This candid moment revealed the tension between his desires and the responsibilities that came with being consort to the Queen. Elizabeth understood his frustrations and often sought to reassure him of his importance, not just to her but to the monarchy itself. "You are my partner in every sense," she would respond, emphasizing the crucial role he played behind the scenes. The couple's relationship was further tested by the expectations placed upon them as public figures. The royal family was constantly scrutinized by the media, and their private lives often became fodder for sensational headlines. Elizabeth was acutely aware of this invasive attention and took steps to protect her family. "We must maintain our privacy. It is essential for our well-being," she insisted during family discussions, striving to create a sanctuary away from the prying eyes of the world. Raising their children, Charles, Anne, Andrew, and Edward, was another challenge that Elizabeth and Philip faced. The couple was determined to instill a sense of duty and service in their children, yet they grappled with the realities of parenting within the confines of royal tradition. Elizabeth often reflected on her own upbringing and the lessons learned from her parents, recognizing the delicate balance between duty and nurturing. Being a mother is not always easy, especially under the scrutiny we face, Elizabeth admitted to her closest confidants. She sought to be present for her children despite her demanding schedule, often carving out family time amidst official duties. Family outings, though carefully orchestrated to avoid public attention, were moments of joy where Elizabeth could relax and connect with her children, allowing glimpses of the warmth and love that existed behind the royal facade. The relationships between Elizabeth and her children were not without their complexities. Charles, in particular, often felt the weight of expectation as the heir to the throne. He struggled with the pressures of his royal role, and Elizabeth sometimes found it difficult to navigate their differing perspectives. "I want to be my own person," Charles would express, reflecting the tensions between his desires and his responsibilities. Elizabeth, in turn, grappled with the need to support her son while ensuring he understood the importance of duty. Anne, known for her independent spirit, often challenged royal conventions. Elizabeth admired her daughter's tenacity but also worried about the repercussions of her decisions. "It's vital for us to uphold the dignity of the monarchy," Elizabeth would caution Anne, striving to find a balance between encouraging her daughter's individuality and protecting the royal image. As the years passed, the private lives of the royals became more intertwined with the public sphere. The advent of television and media brought both unprecedented visibility and scrutiny. Elizabeth recognized the importance of adapting to these changes, but it also meant confronting the realities of public opinion. "We cannot escape our duties, but we must also be true to ourselves," she reflected, navigating the challenges of authenticity in a world that often demanded perfection. One of the most significant turning points in the royal family's private life came with the marriage of Charles and Diana. Initially, Elizabeth welcomed Diana into the family, drawn to her youthful charm and charisma. However, as the marriage unraveled, Elizabeth found herself in the middle of a very public crisis. The media frenzy surrounding their separation and subsequent divorce exposed deep rifts within the family. In private conversations, Elizabeth expressed her concerns about the impact of these events on the monarchy. "We must remain united. Our strength lies in our ability to support one another," she urged her family. Yet, the reality was far more complicated. Tensions rose as differing perspectives emerged, leading to a fracture within the royal household. Elizabeth's role as a mother and grandmother became even more pronounced during these tumultuous times. She sought to provide a stable presence for her grandchildren, particularly during moments of upheaval. "Family is paramount, and we must come together," she reminded her children, emphasizing the importance of unity in the face of adversity. Behind the curtain, Elizabeth emerged as a source of comfort and strength for her family, demonstrating her commitment to fostering love and connection amidst chaos. While the public saw the Queen in her formal attire and poised demeanor, behind the scenes, Elizabeth often turned to her close friends and advisors for support. Her inner circle became a lifeline, providing a space for her to express her thoughts and feelings without judgment. "It is crucial to have trusted confidants who understand the weight of the crown," she would remark, acknowledging the importance of companionship in her journey. Among her closest friends was the late Sir Winston Churchill, whose mentorship had left a lasting impact on her leadership style. Elizabeth often reflected on their conversations, drawing strength from his wisdom. "Courage is not the absence of fear but the triumph over it," he once told her, a sentiment that echoed in her mind during challenging moments. The year 1955 marked a significant turning point in British politics and, consequently, in Queen Elizabeth II's life as she faced the impending resignation of one of the most formidable figures in British history, Sir Winston Churchill. The moment was bittersweet, embodying the culmination of years of partnership, respect, and shared challenges between the Queen and her Prime Minister. As the chapter opens, Elizabeth prepares for what will be one of her most poignant meetings with Churchill. The weight of history hung heavy in the air as she reflected on the impact he had on both her reign and her understanding of leadership. Their relationship had begun just a few short years into her ascension to the throne, and Churchill had been instrumental in guiding her through the tumultuous aftermath of World War I. In private discussions leading up to his resignation, Elizabeth noticed Churchill's increasing fatigue and the toll that years of service had taken on him. His once vibrant spirit seemed to be dulled by the relentless pressures of office and the burdens of leadership. "My dear Winston," she said during one of their meetings, "you've carried the weight of this nation on your shoulders for so long. You deserve rest." Churchill, in his characteristic manner, waved her concerns aside with a smile. "Ah, Elizabeth, the nation needs its ship to remain steady on the turbulent waters. I shall do my duty until the very end." Yet, in her heart, Elizabeth knew that the time for his farewell was drawing near. As the days passed, the news of Churchill's resignation became public, and the nation braced for the transition of leadership. Elizabeth felt a mix of sadness and gratitude wash over her. She had not only lost a prime minister but also a trusted advisor and mentor. "He has shaped my understanding of what it means to lead with courage and conviction," she reflected, recognizing the profound lessons she had learned from him. In their final meeting, Churchill entered Buckingham Palace with a sense of finality. The once lively conversations that had filled the room now carried an air of melancholy. "Your Majesty," he began, his voice tinged with emotion, "it has been my honor to serve as your Prime Minister." He spoke of the trials they had faced together, from the war's aftermath to the challenges of a declining empire. Elizabeth listened intently, reflecting on their shared experiences, knowing that Churchill had not only guided her in her early years as queen but had also helped shape the monarchy's public image during a pivotal moment in history. "You have been a steadfast ally and a true friend," she replied, her voice steady but filled with unspoken emotion. "Your leadership has inspired not just me, but the entire nation." As they reminisced, Churchill shared his hopes for the future of Britain and the monarchy. "The world is changing, Elizabeth. Your reign will usher in a new era, and I have every confidence in your ability to lead with grace and strength," he encouraged. His words served as both a farewell and a passing of the torch, instilling in Elizabeth a sense of responsibility and purpose as she prepared to face the challenges ahead. With Churchill's resignation officially announced, Elizabeth attended the transition ceremony with a heavy heart. She watched as Churchill delivered his final address to Parliament, his words resonating with gravitas and reflection. "To be a leader is to serve, and I have served my country with pride," he declared, his voice strong despite the evident strain. Elizabeth felt a deep respect for the man who had weathered storms both political and personal, leaving an indelible mark on British history. As she left the ceremony, Elizabeth contemplated the impact of Churchill's departure. His resignation symbolized not just a change in leadership, but a shift in the political landscape of Britain. The weight of the monarchy's role in this transition pressed heavily on her shoulders, reminding her of the evolving responsibilities she now faced. "The tides are changing, and so must we," she thought, understanding that she would have to adapt to the new era without Churchill's guidance. In the weeks that followed, Elizabeth began to forge a relationship with her new Prime Minister, Anthony Eden. While she approached this new partnership with optimism, the absence of Churchill's wisdom was palpable. "There is much to learn from the past, and I will carry Winston's lessons with me," she reassured herself, determined to honor the legacy of her mentor while navigating the complexities of her reign. Churchill's farewell also left a personal impact on Elizabeth's understanding of leadership. She recognized the importance of resilience and adaptability, values that would guide her as she faced her own challenges as monarch. "Leadership is not just about authority, it is about understanding the pulse of the people," she mused, reflecting on Churchill's ability to connect with the nation during times of crisis. As the years passed since her ascension to the throne, Queen Elizabeth II began to feel a profound transformation within herself. The weight of the crown, once a daunting burden, gradually evolved into a source of strength and purpose. This chapter explores her journey of self-discovery and the emergence of her identity as queen during a time of great change. At the outset, Elizabeth faced the complexities of her dual role as both a young woman and a monarch. Initially, she had approached her duties with a sense of duty instilled in her since childhood. However, as the political landscape shifted and the nation grappled with the aftermath of World War II, Elizabeth began to recognize the need to forge her own path. "To lead is to understand the hearts of the people," she reflected, realizing that her role required more than adherence to tradition. It necessitated authenticity and connection. The year 1956 marked a pivotal moment in Elizabeth's growth. Amidst the backdrop of a changing world, she undertook a historic royal tour of the Commonwealth, visiting countries like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. This journey not only expanded her horizons but also provided her with invaluable insights into the diverse cultures and aspirations of her subjects. As she mingled with the people, she felt an undeniable connection and responsibility to represent their voices. "Each encounter is a lesson in leadership," Elizabeth noted in her journal, capturing the essence of her evolving identity. She began to understand the importance of being approachable, breaking down the barriers that had traditionally separated the monarchy from the public. Through this experience, she discovered that her position could be one of empowerment, bridging the gap between royalty and the people. Her time abroad also deepened her understanding of the Commonwealth as a vital entity in the post-war era. During her travels, she witnessed the pride and hopes of nations striving for independence and self-determination. "This is the future of the monarchy," she mused, recognizing that her role extended beyond the confines of Britain. She envisioned the monarchy as a unifying force that could support and celebrate the diverse identities within the Commonwealth. Back at home, Elizabeth faced the realities of an evolving society. The cultural landscape of Britain was shifting, with calls for modernization and inclusivity echoing throughout the nation. The changing dynamics prompted her to reflect on her own identity as queen. "I must adapt, yet remain true to my values," she concluded, striving to find a balance between tradition and progress that in her private moments, Elizabeth grappled with the expectations placed upon her. The whispers of the past often lingered, reminding her of the challenges faced by previous monarchs. "What kind of queen do I want to be?" she pondered, wrestling with the weight of history while envisioning her legacy. The answer began to take shape as she embraced her individuality, recognizing that her reign would be defined not only by the crown but by her unique approach to leadership. One significant turning point in her journey occurred during a charity event focused on children's welfare. As she engaged with young families, Elizabeth's empathetic nature shone through. "Every child deserves a chance," she stated, embodying the compassionate leader she aspired to be. This moment solidified her commitment to championing social causes, reinforcing the idea that her role as queen transcended mere ceremonial duties. The support of her family also played a crucial role in her growth. Prince Philip, in particular, encouraged her to embrace her voice and identity. "You have the power to inspire change," he reminded her during a quiet evening at Windsor. His unwavering belief in her potential provided Elizabeth with the confidence she needed to assert herself as a modern monarch. As the chapter progresses, Elizabeth begins to emerge more prominently in public life. She utilizes her platform to advocate for causes she believes in, including education, healthcare, and women's rights. "I am not just a figurehead, I am a voice for the voiceless," she asserts, recognizing her responsibility to elevate issues affecting her subjects. With each passing day, Elizabeth's identity as queen becomes more defined. She learns to navigate the intricacies of diplomacy and international relations, engaging with world leaders on critical matters. Her natural grace and composure earn her respect on the global stage, reinforcing her sense of purpose. Leadership is not just about authority, it is about influence, she reflects, understanding the importance of fostering relationships for the greater good. A poignant moment in her journey occurs during a televised address to the nation. As she speaks about unity and resilience, Elizabeth feels a sense of empowerment wash over her. "I am not merely a representative of the monarchy, I am a symbol of hope for our people," she declares, embracing the opportunity to connect with the nation. Her words resonate deeply, solidifying her emerging identity as a queen who is both relatable and resilient. The 1950s marked a vibrant era for Queen Elizabeth II, characterized by a series of grand public celebrations that not only showcased the monarchy but also played a pivotal role in shaping her public persona. This chapter explores the significance of these events, highlighting how they allowed Elizabeth to connect with her subjects and reinforce her identity as a modern monarch. The chapter opens with preparations for the first major public celebration of Elizabeth's reign, the coronation, held in June 1953. The event, lavishly planned and broadcasted live on television, captured the attention of millions around the world. As Elizabeth donned her regal attire, she felt the weight of history upon her shoulders. "This is more than just a ceremony, it's a reaffirmation of my commitment to the nation," she thought, understanding the significance of this moment not only for herself but for the monarchy as a whole. On the day of the coronation, Westminster Abbey was filled with the rich sounds of choral music and the presence of dignitaries from across the globe. Elizabeth's heart raced as she walked down the aisle, feeling both excitement and trepidation. "Every eye is on me," she mused, aware that this moment would define her public image for years to come. As she took the oath and was anointed with holy oil, a profound sense of purpose enveloped her. "I am here to serve, to unite, and to lead," she declared silently in her heart. The broadcast, watched by an estimated 20 million people in Britain and countless others worldwide, marked a turning point in her relationship with the public. Viewers were drawn to her youthful energy and sincerity, allowing them to see her as not just a figurehead but as a relatable and devoted leader. The coronation celebrations continued with street parties across the nation, fostering a sense of community and shared joy. Elizabeth, aware of the significance of these gatherings, made a point to interact with the public. During a visit to one of the celebrations, she was struck by the warmth and enthusiasm of her subjects. "This is what being queen is about," she realized, as children waved flags and families came together to celebrate. Throughout the summer of 1953, Elizabeth also embarked on a royal tour of the Commonwealth, further enhancing her public persona. Her travels to Australia, New Zealand, and Canada provided opportunities to engage with people from diverse backgrounds. Each stop was marked by grand receptions and enthusiastic welcomes. In Australia, she participated in the Sydney Harbour Bridge climb, an event that symbolized the enduring connection between Britain and its Commonwealth realms. "I want to show that I am not just a queen in a palace but a leader who embraces her role with joy and vigor," she reflected during the climb. As she navigated the bustling streets and attended local events, Elizabeth felt a growing sense of confidence. "Every smile, every handshake, reinforces my commitment to these people," she thought, understanding the importance of being accessible. Her efforts to connect with her subjects during these celebrations helped to solidify her image as a modern monarch, approachable and attuned to the needs of her people. Another significant event occurred in 1955, the Queen's Silver Jubilee, commemorating her 2 decades on the throne. The Jubilee celebrations were a testament to Elizabeth's resilience and dedication to her role. The festivities included parades, concerts, and a grand reception at Buckingham Palace, drawing attention from around the world. Elizabeth's presence at these events highlighted her commitment to service and her deepening connection with her subjects. During the Jubilee celebrations, Elizabeth addressed the nation, expressing her gratitude for the unwavering support she had received over the years. "I have been honored to serve as your queen, and I promise to continue to work tirelessly for our great nation," she declared, her sincerity resonating deeply with the public. Her words reinforced her image as a compassionate leader, dedicated to the well-being of her people. The chapter also explores how these celebrations influenced Elizabeth's evolving understanding of her role as queen. She began to recognize the power of public events in shaping not only her identity but also the monarchy itself. Celebrations are more than just festivities, they are a means of building relationships with the people, she noted, understanding that these moments fostered a sense of unity and pride. In the years that followed, Elizabeth continued to embrace public celebrations, from Trooping the Colour to various national commemorations. Each event was an opportunity to connect with her subjects and showcase the monarchy's relevance in contemporary society. I will use these moments to celebrate our shared history and aspirations, she resolved, eager to build a bridge between the crown and the people. Queen Elizabeth II's early experiences with Prime Minister Sir Winston Churchill became a masterclass in leadership that would shape her reign for decades to come. This chapter delves into the key lessons she learned from Churchill's unique approach to politics and governance, illustrating how these insights informed her own style of leadership. The chapter opens with Elizabeth reflecting on her first audience with Churchill shortly after her coronation. Meeting him felt like stepping into history, she recalled, aware of Churchill's monumental role in British politics. He was a figure revered not just for his political acumen but for his charisma and unwavering resolve during World War II. Elizabeth quickly realized that she had much to learn from him, not only about leadership but also about the weight of responsibility. One of the first lessons she grasped from Churchill was the importance of resilience in the face of adversity. Throughout their discussions, he often spoke about the challenges of leadership and the need to remain steadfast, even when the world felt chaotic. Courage is rightly esteemed the first of human qualities, he would often assert, reinforcing the idea that true leaders must possess the strength to endure tough times. Inspired by this, Elizabeth began to cultivate her own resilience, understanding that her role required her to navigate challenges with grace and fortitude. Churchill also taught Elizabeth the value of communication. Known for his oratory skills, he emphasized the power of words in uniting and inspiring the public. In war, resolution; in defeat, defiance; in victory, magnanimity, he advised, demonstrating how effective communication could rally a nation. Elizabeth observed his ability to articulate the hopes and fears of the British people, and she resolved to do the same. I must find my own voice, she thought, recognizing that her speeches could serve as a beacon of hope during turbulent times. The chapter further explores the significance of mentorship. Churchill's guidance offered Elizabeth a safe space to express her doubts and concerns. There is strength in seeking counsel, he advised her, urging her to surround herself with trusted advisors. Elizabeth took this to heart, realizing that collaboration and support were essential components of effective leadership. She learned to value the insights of her closest confidants, understanding that a wise leader is one who listens as much as she speaks. Another key takeaway for Elizabeth was the importance of adaptability. Churchill's career was marked by shifts in political fortunes, yet he remained flexible, adjusting his strategies as circumstances changed. To be a leader is to be a student of time, he told her, emphasizing the necessity of recognizing the winds of change. Elizabeth internalized this lesson, becoming more attuned to the evolving landscape of British society and the expectations of her subjects. I must be willing to evolve, she thought, determined to ensure that the monarchy remained relevant in a rapidly changing world. As the chapter progresses, Elizabeth reflects on the significance of empathy in leadership, a quality that Churchill possessed in abundance. Despite his formidable presence, he showed a genuine understanding of the struggles faced by ordinary people. We must never forget those we serve, he reminded her, highlighting the importance of compassion in leadership. Elizabeth began to integrate this lesson into her own approach, striving to connect with her subjects on a personal level. Leadership is not merely about authority, it is about understanding, she concluded. Moreover, Churchill's unwavering commitment to his ideals taught Elizabeth the importance of conviction. He remained steadfast in his beliefs, even when faced with opposition. A leader's values must guide their actions, he asserted, instilling in her the understanding that authenticity is essential to gaining the trust of the public. This lesson resonated deeply with Elizabeth, prompting her to reflect on her own values and how they would inform her decisions as queen. The chapter highlights a pivotal moment during a national crisis when Elizabeth had to make a difficult decision. Drawing upon Churchill's teachings, she evaluated her options with a sense of clarity and purpose. What would Churchill do, she asked herself, recognizing the value of his wisdom in navigating challenging situations. This moment crystallized her understanding of leadership as a balance between decisiveness and compassion, demonstrating her growth as a ruler. As Elizabeth continued to learn from Churchill, she also began to cultivate her own leadership style. While she admired his strength and eloquence, she understood the need to remain true to herself. "I must lead with my own voice," she reflected, confident that her unique perspective could enhance the monarchy. This realization marked a significant step in her journey, empowering her to embrace her individuality while drawing inspiration from Churchill's legacy. As Queen Elizabeth II embarked on her reign, the weight of the crown settled heavily upon her shoulders. This chapter explores the profound expectations and responsibilities that came with her title, illuminating the internal and external pressures she faced as a young monarch navigating the complexities of royal duty. The chapter opens with Elizabeth reflecting on her coronation day, a moment filled with grandeur and promise. Yet, beneath the surface of celebration lay an overwhelming sense of duty. This is not just a title, it is a lifelong commitment, she thought, understanding that the crown symbolized not only power but also an unyielding obligation to her country and its people. The festivities faded into the background as the reality of her responsibilities came into sharp focus. In the early days of her reign, Elizabeth felt the immense expectations placed upon her by the nation and the monarchy itself. From her family and advisors to the public, the demands were constant. "I must embody strength and grace," she mused, aware that her actions would be scrutinized at every turn. The pressure to uphold the dignity of the monarchy was palpable, and Elizabeth grappled with the fear of failure. "What if I do not meet their expectations?" she worried, a nagging doubt that lingered in her mind. The chapter delves into Elizabeth's daily routine, highlighting the rigorous schedule that defined her life as queen. Meetings with government officials, public engagements, and state functions filled her calendar, leaving little room for personal respite. "Every moment of my day is accounted for," she reflected, recognizing the sacrifices inherent in her role. The demands of royal life often left her feeling isolated, as she longed for the simplicity of her previous existence. "I missed the freedom of being just Elizabeth," she admitted to herself, acknowledging the profound transformation her life had undergone. In the midst of her responsibilities, Elizabeth found herself torn between her duty to the crown and her desire to be a devoted wife and mother. "How can I fulfill both roles?" she pondered, grappling with the challenge of balancing the crown's demands with her family obligations. The need to present a united front with her husband, Prince Philip, added another layer of complexity. "We are a partnership, yet the crown must come first," she reasoned, acutely aware of the expectations surrounding their marriage. As Queen Elizabeth II looked toward the future, her thoughts often turned to the next generation of royals, her children. This chapter explores Elizabeth's hopes and aspirations for their roles within the monarchy, reflecting her desire to see them embrace their heritage while forging their paths in an ever-changing world. The chapter begins with a quiet moment in Kensington Palace, where Elizabeth finds herself surrounded by her children, Charles, and Andrew, and Edward. "I hope they understand the weight of the crown," she muses, recognizing that each of them carries a unique legacy. As a mother, she feels a profound responsibility to prepare them for the challenges that lie ahead. What kind of leaders will they become, she wonders, contemplating their futures amidst a rapidly evolving society. Elizabeth reflects on her own upbringing and the lessons imparted to her by her parents. "I want my children to learn from my experiences," she thinks, recalling the emphasis placed on duty, service, and compassion. She envisions a monarchy that continues to serve as a source of stability and inspiration for the nation, and she hopes her children will embrace these values as they step into their roles. They must be prepared to face scrutiny with grace, she acknowledges, understanding the challenges that come with public life. As she observes her eldest son, Charles, she feels a mix of pride and concern. He will one day bear the weight of the throne, she reflects, recognizing the expectations placed upon him as the heir apparent. Elizabeth hopes he will bring his own vision to the monarchy, balancing tradition with the need for modernization. "I want him to be a compassionate leader, one who connects with the people," she muses, envisioning a future where the monarchy remains relevant and respected. The chapter delves into Elizabeth's relationship with each of her children, highlighting the distinct qualities they possess. With Anne, she admires her fierce independence and commitment to charitable causes. And has the strength to carve out her own path, she thinks, envisioning a future where her daughter continues to advocate for those in need. Elizabeth hopes that Anne will inspire a new generation of women in leadership, embodying the values of service and resilience. In contrast, Elizabeth finds herself reflecting on Andrew's experiences in the military and the potential impact of his service. "He carries a sense of duty that resonates deeply," she observes, hoping that Andrew's commitment to his country will translate into meaningful contributions to the monarchy. "I want him to understand the importance of humility and service," she muses, recognizing the need for royal family members to remain grounded. As for Edward, Elizabeth sees in him a gentleness and creativity that could redefine the royal role. "He brings a fresh perspective," she acknowledges, envisioning a future where he utilizes his talents to engage younger audiences. "Perhaps he can bridge the gap between the monarchy and the people," she hopes, eager to see him embrace the opportunities that lie ahead. Concerns about the impact of the media on her children's lives. "The scrutiny is relentless," she reflects, fearing that the pressures of public life could overwhelm them. "I want them to remain true to themselves," she muses, understanding the importance of authenticity amidst external expectations. She emphasizes to them the need for resilience, reminding them, "The world will judge you, but your character will define you." Elizabeth's thoughts turn to her own role as a mother, recognizing the challenges of balancing her duties with nurturing her children. "I hope they will forgive my absences," she reflects, understanding the sacrifices required of a queen. "I want them to know they are loved and supported," she reassures herself, Committed to fostering strong family bonds despite her demanding schedule, Elizabeth contemplates the future of the monarchy itself. Change is inevitable, she acknowledges, recognizing the shifting cultural landscape of Britain. She hopes her children will embrace this change, adapting the monarchy to reflect the values and concerns of a new generation. They must be willing to listen and learn, she asserts, envisioning a monarchy that evolves while honoring its traditions. In a poignant moment, Elizabeth sits down with her children, sharing her dreams and aspirations for them. "I want you to be leaders who inspire," she expresses, emphasizing the importance of compassion and service. She encourages them to engage with the public and understand the issues facing their generation. "You are the future of this monarchy, and I believe in each of you," she affirms, instilling a sense of purpose in their hearts. As Queen Elizabeth II navigated the tumultuous waters of her reign, one of the most challenging aspects she faced was managing the monarchy's public image, especially during times of scandal. This chapter delves into the complexities of crisis management and the strategies employed by Elizabeth and her advisors to maintain the royal family's dignity and public support amid controversies. The chapter opens with a scene at Buckingham Palace, where a crisis has erupted in the media. Rumors of a scandal involving one of her children have surfaced, threatening to overshadow the royal family's reputation. Elizabeth sits in a meeting with her closest advisors, each displaying a mix of concern and determination. "We must respond swiftly and decisively," she asserts, recognizing the urgency of the situation. The pressure is palpable as the team prepares to address the media frenzy and quell public speculation. Elizabeth reflects on past scandals that have tested the monarchy's resilience. "The public's perception can shift in an instant," she muses, recalling incidents from previous decades that rocked the royal family. "I must ensure we are prepared for anything," she acknowledges, recognizing the need for a robust strategy to navigate these turbulent waters. The chapter highlights Elizabeth's approach to crisis management, characterized by a blend of transparency and discretion. She believes in addressing issues head-on while maintaining the royal family's dignity. "Silence can be misinterpreted," she states, advocating for a proactive response. Elizabeth instructs her communications team to craft a carefully worded statement that acknowledges the situation without divulging too many personal details. "We must protect our family's privacy," she emphasizes, understanding the delicate balance required. As the team works on the statement, Elizabeth reflects on the importance of unity during a crisis. "We must present a united front," she insists, gathering her family for a meeting to discuss the situation. "We are stronger together," she reassures them, emphasizing the need for solidarity in the face of adversity. The family discusses how they can support one another and minimize the impact of the scandal on their public image. "Let us remember our values and commitment to duty," she reminds them, instilling a sense of purpose. The narrative shifts to the media landscape, where sensational headlines dominate the news cycle. Elizabeth watches as reporters speculate about the scandal, their words sharp and unforgiving. "The media can be relentless," she reflects, acutely aware of the challenges posed by public scrutiny. To counter the negative narrative, she instructs her team to engage with select journalists, fostering relationships that can be beneficial during times of crisis. "We must build trust with the press," she believes, understanding the role of media in shaping public perception. In the face of the scandal, Elizabeth also prioritizes the well-being of her children. They are the ones most affected by this, she notes, recognizing the emotional toll that public scrutiny can take. She encourages open communication within the family, ensuring they feel supported during this difficult time. Let us lean on one another, she advises, fostering an environment where they can share their concerns and fears. As the chapter progresses, the royal family's response begins to take shape. Elizabeth's statement is released, acknowledging the situation while emphasizing the importance of family and privacy. "We will address this matter with integrity and respect," it declares, a testament to Elizabeth's commitment to upholding the monarchy's values even in challenging times. The statement resonates with the public, and the media's tone begins to shift, acknowledging the royal family's grace under pressure. However, the crisis is not yet over. Elizabeth faces new challenges as public opinion continues to evolve. "We must remain vigilant," she reminds her team, emphasizing the importance of ongoing communication with the public. The royal family embarks on a series of public engagements, focusing on charitable work and community involvement to reinforce their commitment to service. "Actions speak louder than words," she states, believing that demonstrating their dedication to the nation will help restore public confidence. Throughout the chapter, Elizabeth reflects on the lessons learned from crisis management. "Each challenge strengthens us," she observes, recognizing that navigating scandals can lead to growth and resilience. She emphasizes the importance of maintaining authenticity and staying true to one's values, even when faced with adversity. "In the end, it is our character that defines us," she concludes, understanding that the monarchy's legacy rests on its ability to weather storms with grace. As the 1960s dawned, the political landscape in Britain began to shift dramatically, ushering in a new era marked by change, idealism, and tumult. This chapter explores the evolving dynamics of British politics during this pivotal decade, reflecting on how these transformations impacted Queen Elizabeth II, her reign, and the monarchy's relationship with the government. The chapter opens with a panoramic view of London in the early 1960s, a city buzzing with energy and change. Elizabeth is acutely aware of the growing restlessness among the populace. The echoes of youth protests and calls for social reform reverberate throughout the nation. "The world is changing at an unprecedented pace," she muses, contemplating the implications for the monarchy and its relevance in this new political climate. Elizabeth attends a meeting with her advisors at Buckingham Palace, where discussions revolve around the recent election of Labour leader Harold Wilson as Prime Minister. Wilson represents a generation eager for change, one advisor notes, highlighting the contrast between Wilson's progressive vision and the more conservative leadership of the past. Elizabeth reflects on the significance of this political shift, recognizing the need for the monarchy to adapt to a society in flux. The chapter explores the impact of key events that defined the political climate of the 1960s. The Suez Crisis, which had reverberated in the late 1950s, had shaken Britain's confidence in its role as a global power. Elizabeth recalls the tensions and turmoil that marked that period, noting how it shifted perceptions of the monarchy's place in the world. "We must learn from our past mistakes," she affirms, understanding that the monarchy's relevance depends on its ability to evolve alongside the nation. As the narrative progresses, Elizabeth finds herself grappling with the implications of decolonization. The dismantling of the British Empire leads to a loss of traditional power, and the monarchy must navigate the complex realities of a changing world. The Commonwealth is our future, she reflects, recognizing the importance of fostering relationships with former colonies. Elizabeth begins to explore ways to strengthen these ties, emphasizing the shared values and responsibilities that can unite nations despite their historical differences. In this new political landscape, Elizabeth becomes increasingly aware of the growing influence of the media on public opinion. The press shapes narratives, she notes, acknowledging the power of journalism in defining her image and the monarchy's role. She reflects on the need for transparency and engagement with the public, understanding that the monarchy must adapt to the realities of the media age. "We must remain accessible," she declares, determined to build a connection with the people. The chapter highlights the generational divide in political ideology during the 1960s, with younger citizens demanding progressive reforms and social justice. Elizabeth observes the energy of youth movements advocating for civil rights, gender equality, and anti-war sentiments. Their passion is inspiring, she reflects, recognizing the importance of listening to the voices of a new generation. Elizabeth encourages her advisors to explore ways for the monarchy to engage with these movements, believing that the royal family can play a role in advocating for social change, and also delves into Elizabeth's evolving relationship with her prime ministers during this period. Wilson's tenure brings a fresh perspective to the role of government, and Elizabeth finds herself navigating the complexities of collaboration with a leader who embodies the spirit of the times. Their conversations often touch on issues of social welfare and education, highlighting the monarchy's potential to champion causes that resonate with the public. "Together, we can inspire hope and progress," she emphasizes, recognizing the importance of partnership in this new era. As the decade unfolds, Elizabeth witnesses the tumult of the 1968 protests, which sweep across Europe and echo in the United Kingdom. The protests reflect widespread dissatisfaction with political establishments and call for systemic change. "This is a pivotal moment in our history," Elizabeth acknowledges, understanding that the monarchy must find its place in this evolving narrative. She reflects on the importance of resilience and adaptability as the nation grapples with uncertainty. She reflects on her role as a symbol of continuity amidst change. "I am not just a figurehead, I am a leader," she asserts, determined to guide the monarchy through the challenges of a new era. She recognizes that the crown carries the weight of history, but it must also embrace the possibilities of the future. "Our strength lies in our ability to adapt," she concludes, affirming her commitment to serving the nation with integrity and purpose. As the 1960s progress, Queen Elizabeth II embarks on a journey of personal and institutional evolution, navigating the challenges and opportunities presented by a rapidly changing world. This chapter explores how she adapts to the shifting tides of public sentiment, political dynamics, and social reform, ultimately redefining her role as a modern monarch. The chapter opens with a serene scene at Windsor Castle, where Elizabeth reflects on the transformation she has witnessed since ascending to the throne. "Time is a relentless force," she muses, contemplating the changing expectations of her role as queen. "The world outside her window is bustling with energy, youthful movements advocating for change and a society increasingly questioning tradition. I must learn to evolve with it, she acknowledges, understanding that adaptation is essential for the monarchy's survival. Elizabeth's initial moments of self-reflection lead her to consider the lessons learned from her early experiences in public life. The challenges she faced as a young queen, balancing duty and personal happiness, taught her valuable lessons about resilience and authenticity. I have grown through adversity, she realizes, recognizing that each challenge has contributed to her development as a leader. This newfound wisdom inspires her to embrace change and innovation in her approach to the monarchy. As the narrative unfolds, Elizabeth finds herself engaging with contemporary issues that resonate with her subjects. She attends a conference on social welfare, where she listens to passionate speeches from advocates seeking reform. Their voices matter, she reflects, feeling a renewed sense of responsibility to champion the causes that impact the lives of her citizens. Inspired by their fervor, she resolves to use her platform to address pressing social issues, recognizing that the monarchy must align itself with the values of the people. The chapter also highlights Elizabeth's commitment to modernization within the royal family. She understands that maintaining relevance requires embracing contemporary practices and breaking away from outdated traditions. During discussions with her advisors, she advocates for increased transparency and engagement with the public. We must show the people who we are, she insists, believing that opening up about royal life will help bridge the gap between the monarchy and its subjects. In a pivotal moment, Elizabeth agrees to participate in a documentary showcasing her life and the workings of the royal family. The decision is met with mixed reactions from her advisors, but she remains resolute. This is an opportunity to connect with the people, she argues, understanding the importance of authenticity in building trust. The film ultimately portrays her as a relatable figure, humanizing the monarchy and allowing the public to see the woman behind the crown. As the chapter progresses, Elizabeth navigates her relationship with the press, a key element in her evolution as queen. She recognizes the growing influence of media in shaping public perception and understands the need to engage with it more proactively. During a visit to a community event, she seizes the opportunity to interact with journalists, sharing candid insights about her role and responsibilities. "We are all in this together," she expresses, emphasizing her desire for open dialogue and understanding. The evolving landscape of politics also prompts Elizabeth to reevaluate her relationship with her prime ministers. With Harold Wilson at the helm, she finds a leader who embodies the spirit of the times, one who encourages dialogue and collaboration. Their discussions often touch on vital issues such as education, healthcare, and social justice. Elizabeth recognizes that her influence extends beyond ceremonial duties. She can actively participate in shaping policies that impact the nation. Leadership is about partnership, she reflects, embracing her role as a collaborator in governance. Elizabeth faces as she adapts to her evolving role. The pressures of public scrutiny weigh heavily on her, and she grapples with the expectations placed upon her as a queen and a mother. "I am torn between duty and family," she confides to her trusted confidants, acknowledging the difficulty of balancing these responsibilities. In response, she prioritizes family time, ensuring that her children feel supported amidst their own challenges. amidst her personal reflections, Elizabeth remains attuned to the cultural shifts shaping society. The rise of the counterculture movement and calls for gender equality resonate with her, and she acknowledges the need for the monarchy to reflect these values. Women have voices that must be heard, she affirms, pledging to support initiatives that empower women and promote equality. This commitment marks a significant step in her evolution as a queen, positioning her as a champion for social change. Elizabeth addresses a crowd of diverse individuals, sharing her vision for a united and compassionate society. Together, we can build a brighter future, she declares, embodying the spirit of hope and resilience that defines the era. The response from the audience is overwhelming, illustrating the impact of her evolution as a queen who is in tune with her people. In this chapter, Queen Elizabeth II embarks on a profound journey of self-discovery and personal growth, reflecting on her early reign and the lessons learned along the way. As she navigates the complexities of leadership, public perception, and familial responsibilities, Elizabeth emerges with a deeper understanding of her role and the legacy she wishes to create. The chapter opens with a quiet moment at Buckingham Palace, where Elizabeth sits alone in her study, surrounded by letters and mementos from her early days as queen. She gazes out the window, observing the changing seasons outside. How quickly time passes, she muses, recalling the whirlwind of events that marked her ascent to the throne. This moment of solitude allows her to reflect on the significant transformations she has experienced, both personally and institutionally. Elizabeth begins her reflection by revisiting the challenges she faced during her coronation and the immediate aftermath. The weight of the crown felt heavy, and she recalls the doubts that lingered in her mind. Was I truly prepared for this? She ponders, acknowledging the insecurities that accompanied her early reign. However, as she sifts through the memories, she recognizes that those very challenges became catalysts for her growth. I learned to find strength within myself, she realizes, understanding that adversity often paves the way for resilience. As the narrative unfolds, Elizabeth recalls key moments of her early reign that shaped her character. The Suez Crisis, a defining event in her early years as queen, taught her valuable lessons about leadership, diplomacy, and the importance of listening to her advisors. In times of uncertainty, one must remain grounded, she reflects, appreciating the wisdom gained through navigating turbulent waters. The experience deepened her understanding of the monarchy's role in international affairs and the need to uphold the dignity of the crown. The chapter delves into Elizabeth's relationship with her family, particularly with her husband, Prince Philip. Their marriage, forged in the crucible of royal expectations, has faced its share of trials. We are partners in this journey, she affirms, recognizing the importance of communication and support in their relationship. Reflecting on the balancing act of duty and personal life, she acknowledges the growth they have achieved together. Love is not just a feeling, it's a commitment to each other's happiness, she asserts, embodying the strength of their bond. As she contemplates her role as a mother, Elizabeth grapples with the challenges of parenting in the public eye. How can I protect my children from scrutiny? She wonders, acknowledging the complexities of raising heirs to the throne. Through candid reflections, she recognizes the need to foster an environment of love and support for her children. I want them to feel free to express themselves, she resolves, understanding that her role as a mother is as significant as her role as a queen. The chapter also highlights Elizabeth's evolving relationship with the British public. Initially, she struggled with the expectations placed upon her, feeling the pressure to embody the ideal queen. Public perception is a double-edged sword, she realizes, understanding that she must find a balance between royal duty and authenticity. As she engages more openly with her subjects, she discovers the importance of connecting on a personal level. "I am not just a queen, I am a woman with hopes and dreams," she affirms, embracing her identity beyond the crown. Through her reflections, Elizabeth contemplates the significance of service and duty. She recalls her early commitment to charitable endeavors and the importance of giving back to the community. "Service is the heartbeat of the monarchy," she asserts, recognizing that her role extends beyond the confines of the palace. By championing various causes, she connects with her people and fosters a sense of unity and purpose. "Together, we can make a difference," she believes, understanding that her actions can inspire positive change. The chapter culminates in a powerful moment of realization for Elizabeth. During a private gathering with trusted advisors and friends, she shares her vision for the future of the monarchy. "I want to lead with compassion, integrity, and humility," she declares, understanding that true leadership lies in serving others. As she articulates her aspirations, her resolve solidifies. "I will not shy away from my responsibilities, instead, I will embrace them with open arms," she affirms, signaling a newfound commitment to her role. Reflection and growth captures the essence of Elizabeth II's journey during her early reign, illustrating how she navigates the complexities of leadership while nurturing her personal identity. Through her introspection, Elizabeth emerges as a more resilient and empathetic queen, equipped with the wisdom gained from her experiences. This chapter serves as a testament to her evolution, underscoring the significance of reflection in fostering growth, both as a leader and as a woman. Queen Elizabeth II experiences a pivotal moment that challenges her perceptions and broadens her understanding of leadership. An unexpected visit from a foreign dignitary prompts her to reevaluate her approach to monarchy and diplomacy, ultimately reshaping her perspective on her role as queen. The chapter opens on a crisp autumn day at Buckingham Palace. Elizabeth is preparing for a routine meeting with her advisors when she receives word of an unexpected visitor, a prominent leader from a newly independent nation. Initially taken aback by the suddenness of the meeting, she reminds herself, every visitor brings a lesson. Intrigued yet apprehensive, Elizabeth makes her way to the drawing room, where the dignitary awaits. As she enters the room, she is greeted by the dignitary, a charismatic and passionate leader who represents a country emerging from colonial rule. Their initial pleasantries are warm but tinged with formality. "Your Majesty, it is an honor to meet you," the visitor states, his eyes sparkling with determination. Elizabeth acknowledges his presence with a polite smile, but she senses that this meeting holds more significance than she initially anticipated. As they begin to converse, the leader shares stories of his nation's struggle for independence and the challenges faced in forging a new identity. His words resonate with Elizabeth, who finds herself captivated by his passion and resilience. "We are building a future for our people," he explains, his voice filled with conviction. "It is not just about power, it is about hope and unity." Elizabeth listens intently, reflecting on the contrast between his experience and her own role as queen of a declining empire. During the discussion, the dignitary poses thought-provoking questions about the monarchy's relevance in a changing world. Your Majesty, how do you see your role in a time when many nations are redefining their identities? He asks, prompting Elizabeth to pause and consider her answer. I believe in the importance of tradition, but I also recognize the need for evolution, she replies thoughtfully, realizing that her perspective is evolving in real-time. As the conversation unfolds, Elizabeth learns about the innovative initiatives being implemented in the dignitary's country, programs aimed at empowering women, fostering education, and promoting social justice. We must be agents of change, he asserts, inspiring her to think about her own responsibilities as a leader. Elizabeth begins to see the parallels between their journeys, despite the differences in their contexts. We both strive to serve our people, she reflects, recognizing the shared humanity that transcends borders. The meeting takes a more personal turn as they delve into the emotional toll of leadership. The dignitary shares candidly about the pressures he faces and the sacrifices he has made for his country. There are days when I question my decisions, he admits, his vulnerability striking a chord with Elizabeth. But I have faith in my vision and the people I serve. His honesty inspires Elizabeth to confront her own insecurities, reminding her that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. As the discussion comes to a close, the dignitary extends an invitation for Elizabeth to visit his country, promising her an experience that would deepen her understanding of their shared challenges and aspirations. Your presence would mean so much to our people, he states earnestly, leaving Elizabeth to contemplate the significance of such a gesture. Perhaps there is more for me to learn from the world outside these palace walls, she thinks, intrigued by the prospect of expanding her horizons. After their meeting, Elizabeth retreats to her private chambers, her mind swirling with new insights and ideas. The encounter with the dignitary has ignited a spark within her, prompting her to reevaluate her approach to leadership and the monarchy's role in the global landscape. I must not only represent tradition but also embrace the future, she resolves, understanding that her evolution as queen is intertwined with the changing dynamics of the world. In the closing moments of the chapter, Elizabeth reflects on the impact of unexpected encounters. Sometimes, the most profound lessons come from those we least expect, she muses, grateful for the opportunity to engage with diverse perspectives. As she prepares for her next engagements, she carries with her a renewed sense of purpose and commitment to serving her people, both at home and abroad. An unexpected visitor captures the transformative power of dialogue and connection, illustrating how a single meeting can change one's perspective and deepen their understanding of leadership. Through her interaction with the dignitary, Elizabeth II emerges more aware of her role as a queen in a rapidly changing world, ready to embrace the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Queen Elizabeth II delves into the complexities and nuances of political power, exploring how it shapes her role as a monarch and influences the course of her reign. Through a series of encounters and reflections, Elizabeth gains insights into the delicate balance of power that exists within the British monarchy in the political landscape of her time. The chapter begins with Elizabeth seated in her private study, surrounded by documents and reports detailing the current political climate. The air is thick with a sense of anticipation as she prepares for an important meeting with her advisors. As she reviews the information, she contemplates the nature of power itself. Power is not merely authority, it is the ability to effect change, she muses, recognizing that understanding its nuances is crucial for her role as queen. During the meeting, Elizabeth engages in a spirited discussion with her key advisors about the state of Parliament and the ongoing political debates that are shaping the nation. As various perspectives are shared, she begins to appreciate the intricacies of political maneuvering. It is a dance, one where the steps must be carefully choreographed, she observes, realizing that the interplay of personalities and agendas is fundamental to governance. Amidst the discussions, one advisor poses a thought-provoking question: "Your Majesty, how do you see the monarchy's role in influencing political power?" This inquiry prompts Elizabeth to reflect on the historical context of the crown and its relationship with the government. The monarchy exists to serve the people, yet it must also navigate the currents of political power, she responds, acknowledging the delicate balance she must maintain. As the meeting progresses, Elizabeth recalls her early interactions with Prime Minister Churchill. She reflects on the lessons learned from their conversations about leadership and the importance of understanding the motivations of others. "Churchill taught me that power can be wielded wisely or recklessly," she recalls, appreciating the value of discernment in her role. "It is vital to know when to lead and when to listen." After the meeting, Elizabeth decides to seek further understanding by visiting the House of Commons. As she observes the lively debates and passionate discussions among members of Parliament, she is struck by the vibrant tapestry of democracy in action. The room pulsates with energy, each voice contributing to the greater dialogue. This is where power is contested and forged, she realizes, recognizing the significance of her role as a unifying figure in this dynamic environment. In a reflective moment, Elizabeth engages in a conversation with a young member of Parliament, who expresses his hopes for a more inclusive political landscape. "We must strive for representation that reflects the diversity of our nation," he argues passionately. Inspired by his conviction, Elizabeth contemplates the monarchy's responsibility to advocate for progress and social change. Perhaps it is time for the crown to champion the voices that have long been unheard, she reflects, envisioning a more proactive role for the monarchy. The chapter also explores Elizabeth's growing awareness of the limitations of power. During a meeting with a cabinet minister, she learns about the challenges of implementing policies in the face of public opposition. "Sometimes, even the best intentions are met with resistance," he explains, illuminating the complexities of governance. True power lies in collaboration and compromise, Elizabeth realizes, understanding that leadership is not solely about making decisions but also about fostering consensus. As the chapter nears its conclusion, Elizabeth reflects on the lessons learned throughout her exploration of power. Power is not static, it is fluid and constantly evolving, she contemplates, recognizing that her role as queen requires adaptability and foresight. To lead effectively, one must be attuned to the shifting tides of politics and public sentiment. In the final moments of the chapter, Elizabeth resolves to approach her role with a renewed sense of purpose and humility. "I will wield my influence not for personal gain, but for the betterment of my people," she declares, embracing the weight of her responsibilities. With a clearer understanding of the nature of power, she feels equipped to navigate the challenges ahead, ready to serve as a beacon of stability in a world of uncertainty. The nature of power, captures Queen Elizabeth II's evolving understanding of political influence and responsibility. Through her experiences and reflections, she gains valuable insights into the nuances of power, reinforcing her commitment to lead with wisdom, empathy, and integrity as she shapes her reign in the midst of a rapidly changing political landscape. Queen Elizabeth II embarks on a transformative journey of self-discovery, exploring her identity beyond the crown and the responsibilities that come with her role as monarch. As she navigates the complexities of her life, she begins to understand the woman behind the title and what it truly means to be a leader. The chapter opens with Elizabeth in her private quarters, surrounded by the opulence of Buckingham Palace. However, instead of feeling comforted by her surroundings, she feels a sense of isolation. Behind these gilded walls, who am I truly? She reflects, pondering her identity beyond her royal duties. The pressures of her position often overshadow her personal desires and aspirations, leading her to question her sense of self. Seeking clarity, Elizabeth decides to take a brief respite from her royal obligations. She embarks on a solitary retreat to the countryside, longing for moments of peace and reflection. As she strolls through the lush gardens of a royal estate, the natural beauty around her inspires introspection. In nature, I find a sense of freedom, she muses, allowing herself to feel the weight of her responsibilities begin to lift. During her retreat, Elizabeth spends time journaling, pouring her thoughts and feelings onto the pages. She reflects on her upbringing, her marriage to Philip, and the expectations placed upon her as a young queen. I have always been defined by my title, but who am I beneath it all? She writes, seeking to unravel the complexities of her identity. Through this process, she begins to confront her insecurities and fears. One evening, as she gazes at the starry sky, Elizabeth recalls the stories of her childhood, particularly her beloved grandfather, King George V. She remembers his kindness and the lessons he imparted about duty and compassion. He understood that being a monarch is not just about power, but about serving others. She reflects, feeling a renewed connection to her family's legacy. The chapter also explores Elizabeth's evolving relationship with Philip. In a moment of vulnerability, she contemplates their partnership and the challenges they have faced. Philip has always been my rock, yet I often feel the strain of my responsibilities on our marriage, she admits. Recognizing the importance of open communication, she resolves to share her feelings with him, seeking to strengthen their bond as they navigate the complexities of royal life together. As the retreat comes to an end, Elizabeth encounters a local woman who shares her own story of struggle and resilience. The woman speaks of her dreams, aspirations, and the sacrifices she has made for her family. "We all have our battles, Your Majesty," she says, her words resonating deeply with Elizabeth. It is through these experiences that we find our true selves. This encounter serves as a pivotal moment for Elizabeth, reminding her that self-discovery often comes from understanding the lives of others. Returning to Buckingham Palace with a renewed sense of purpose, Elizabeth feels a shift within herself. She begins to understand that her identity is not solely defined by her title or her duties, but by her values, experiences, and connections with others. "I am more than just a queen, I am a woman, a mother, and a leader," she declares, embracing the multifaceted nature of her existence. In the final moments of the chapter, Elizabeth reflects on her journey of self-discovery. This path may be fraught with challenges, but it is also filled with opportunities for growth, she acknowledges, recognizing that her experiences have shaped her into the leader she is becoming. I will carry this understanding with me as I navigate my role, allowing my true self to guide my reign. A personal journey encapsulates Queen Elizabeth II's exploration of her identity and purpose as a monarch. Through moments of reflection, connection, and vulnerability, she embarks on a transformative path of self-discovery, ultimately embracing the complexities of her life and the responsibilities of leadership with newfound clarity and strength. Queen Elizabeth II grapples with the shifting landscape of public perception regarding the monarchy. As she navigates her early reign, she becomes increasingly aware of the delicate balance between tradition and modernity, and how the public's views can significantly impact the royal family's standing. The chapter begins with Elizabeth attending a public engagement in a small town, where she is met with both cheers and skepticism. "It is both exhilarating and daunting to be so close to my people," she reflects as she greets the crowd. However, she can't help but notice the divided reactions. While many express excitement and admiration, others appear indifferent or critical. What do they truly think of me and the monarchy? She wonders, realizing that public perception is as complex as the society she serves. As she returns to the palace, Elizabeth reflects on the changing attitudes toward the royal family. The post-war era has brought about a sense of pragmatism among the populace, leading to a growing desire for transparency and authenticity from their leaders. The days of unquestioned loyalty to the crown may be waning, she muses, acknowledging the need for the monarchy to evolve alongside the changing times. In her discussions with her advisors, Elizabeth learns about the increasing influence of the media in shaping public perception. The press can be both an ally and an adversary, one of her advisors warns, explaining how coverage can elevate or undermine the monarchy's image. This revelation prompts Elizabeth to consider how she can effectively engage with the media to foster a more favorable public image. Perhaps openness can counter skepticism, she contemplates, recognizing the importance of connecting with the people on a more personal level. The chapter also explores Elizabeth's decision to modernize certain royal traditions to resonate more with contemporary society. She recalls her first televised Christmas address, a moment that captivated the nation and marked a significant shift in how the monarchy interacted with the public. "Television brings me closer to my people," she reflects, recognizing the power of visual communication in bridging the gap between the royal family and the citizens. In this new era, visibility and approachability are key, she resolves, vowing to adapt to the changing media landscape. However, not all efforts to modernize are met with enthusiasm. Elizabeth faces criticism from traditionalists who believe that the monarchy should maintain its historical customs. Change must be approached delicately, she acknowledges, striving to strike a balance between honoring tradition and embracing progress. The crown must evolve, but it must also remain rooted in its heritage. Throughout the chapter, Elizabeth encounters various public figures who express diverse opinions about the monarchy. From vocal Republicans advocating for an end to the monarchy to staunch royalists defending its importance, the range of perspectives challenges her understanding of her role. How do I navigate this spectrum of opinion? She wonders, realizing that leadership requires empathy and the ability to listen to differing voices. In a pivotal moment, Elizabeth attends a charity event where she interacts with individuals whose lives have been impacted by royal initiatives. Their heartfelt stories resonate with her, reinforcing her belief in the monarchy's potential to serve as a force for good. Perhaps by amplifying these stories, I can shift perceptions, she considers, envisioning a more compassionate and engaged royal family. Queen Elizabeth II confronts the profound impact that media coverage has on the monarchy, both as a tool for connection and a source of scrutiny. As she navigates her early reign, she learns to harness the power of media while being acutely aware of its potential to shape public perception, for better or worse. The chapter opens with Elizabeth receiving a briefing from her communications team on recent media coverage of the royal family. As she scans the headlines, some glowing, others critical, she feels a mix of pride and trepidation. The media is a double-edged sword, she reflects, recognizing its role in both celebrating royal achievements and exposing vulnerabilities. How can I ensure that our story is told truthfully and fairly? Elizabeth recalls her first experience with the press during her wedding to Prince Philip. The global media frenzy surrounding their union had been overwhelming yet exhilarating. That day, the world watched as I stepped into my new role, she muses, acknowledging the power of that moment in shaping her public image. However, she also recognizes that the narrative crafted by the media is often influenced by sensationalism rather than substance. As she delves deeper into the chapter, Elizabeth grapples with the changing dynamics of media in the post-war era. The advent of television has transformed the landscape, bringing the royal family into homes across the nation. This new medium can bridge distances, but it also magnifies our every move, she observes, contemplating the weight of visibility. The prospect of being under constant scrutiny makes her acutely aware of her actions and words. The narrative shifts to Elizabeth's experiences during various public engagements, where she is greeted by a throng of journalists and photographers. The press's insatiable appetite for stories and images often feels intrusive, yet Elizabeth understands the necessity of engaging with them. To connect with my people, I must engage with the media, she resolves, despite the discomfort it sometimes brings. A turning point occurs when Elizabeth decides to embrace televised addresses as a means of reaching the public. She recalls her first Christmas broadcast, where she speaks directly to the nation. In that moment, I felt a connection with my people, she reflects, understanding that the personal touch can humanize the monarchy. If they can see me as a person, perhaps they will understand me better. This decision marks a significant shift in how the monarchy interacts with the public, as she strives to balance formality with approachability. However, Elizabeth is not oblivious to the darker side of media coverage. The chapter explores the invasive nature of tabloid journalism, which often sensationalizes her family's private lives. She remembers a particularly troubling scandal involving unauthorized photographs of her children, prompting a fierce protective instinct. My family deserves privacy, she asserts, grappling with the challenge of maintaining boundaries while fulfilling her public duties. This tension between her role as a mother and her status as a public figure creates moments of profound introspection. In a pivotal scene, Elizabeth attends a media briefing where she faces questions from journalists about the monarchy's relevance in a changing world. "What can you say to reassure the public?" one reporter presses, and Elizabeth realizes the importance of transparency and engagement in addressing concerns. "I must articulate our purpose," she decides, recognizing that her voice can help shape the narrative. Elizabeth reflects on the evolving relationship between the monarchy and the media. "We are both storytellers in our own right," she muses, contemplating how the monarchy can use media as a platform for positive change. By highlighting charitable endeavors and public service initiatives, she hopes to create a more favorable image of the royal family and reinforce its role in society. Queen Elizabeth II grapples with the unique challenges of her youth as she assumes the responsibilities of the monarchy. At just 25, she faces the dual pressures of fulfilling her royal duties while navigating the expectations and perceptions of being a young queen in a world that often underestimates her capabilities. The chapter begins with Elizabeth reflecting on her coronation, a day filled with both grandeur and trepidation. "I stood before the world, crowned as queen, yet I felt the weight of youth on my shoulders," she muses, recalling the moment when she became the focal point of national and international attention. "Was I truly ready for this role?" This question echoes in her mind as she contemplates the vast responsibilities ahead. As she settles into her role, Elizabeth faces skepticism from some members of the public and the press, who question her experience and capability to lead. A young woman, just married, thrust into a position of such power, "It feels surreal," she admits to her close confidants. This internal conflict leaves her torn between embracing her youth and confronting the expectations that come with the crown. "How can I prove my worth while still being true to myself?" she wonders. The narrative shifts to Elizabeth's daily life, where she attends meetings with seasoned politicians and advisors who often treat her with a mix of deference and paternalism. "It's essential to assert my authority, yet I must also listen and learn," she realizes, trying to find the delicate balance between asserting herself and acknowledging her need for guidance. The chapter explores her growing understanding of the monarchy's traditions, but also her desire to carve out her own identity within those confines. During an official engagement, Elizabeth finds herself speaking to a group of young women about their aspirations. Inspired by their enthusiasm, she feels a renewed sense of purpose. "I want them to see me as a role model," she reflects, realizing that her position as a young queen can inspire others. "If I can share my experiences and struggles, perhaps I can empower them to pursue their own dreams." However, the chapter also highlights the difficulties of being in the public eye at such a young age. Elizabeth reflects on her relationship with her husband, Philip, and the challenges they face as a newlywed couple amidst the scrutiny of the media and public. "I want to be a good wife and a good queen, but the demands are so great," she confides to Philip during a quiet moment at home. Their discussions reveal the strain that royal duties can place on personal relationships, as they both navigate the expectations of their roles. As the chapter progresses, Elizabeth experiences moments of self-doubt, questioning whether she is living up to the legacy of her predecessors. "What would my father think of my reign?" she wonders, reflecting on the high expectations placed upon her. She seeks counsel from her grandmother, who reminds her that each queen must define her own path. "Your youth is an asset, Elizabeth. Use it to bring fresh perspectives," her grandmother advises, encouraging her to embrace her unique position. In a poignant scene, Elizabeth attends a state dinner where she is surrounded by seasoned diplomats and world leaders. "I may be young, but my voice matters," she tells herself, summoning the courage to contribute to discussions on important issues. This moment of confidence marks a turning point for her as she begins to embrace her role as a young leader, determined to prove that age does not define capability. Queen Elizabeth II faces the intricate and often tumultuous landscape of public controversies that threaten the monarchy's reputation. As a young queen, she learns the importance of crisis management and the delicate art of maintaining the royal family's dignity amidst scandals that arise from both within and outside the palace walls. The chapter opens with a media storm surrounding a sensationalized tabloid story that claims impropriety involving a close member of the royal family. Elizabeth sits in her private study, poring over the headlines splashed across the front pages. How could this happen, she wonders, feeling a mixture of anger and disbelief. The implications of such a story reach far beyond personal reputations. They challenge the very institution she represents. Elizabeth convenes a meeting with her trusted advisors and public relations team. "We must respond swiftly and decisively," she states, her voice firm but laced with concern. The team outlines a plan that includes a carefully crafted public statement, but Elizabeth knows that words alone may not suffice. "We need to show the public that we are committed to integrity and transparency," she insists, emphasizing the need to restore public trust. The narrative shifts as the chapter explores the different scandals that have affected the monarchy during Elizabeth's reign. From rumors of infidelity to political missteps by royal family members, each incident tests the resilience of the institution. Elizabeth recalls her own experiences witnessing the handling of previous controversies, including those faced by her father, King George VI. "I remember the weight of those moments," she reflects, drawing on the lessons learned from her family's history. During one particularly intense scandal, Elizabeth faces public backlash over her decision to stand by a family member who has come under fire. "I want to support my family, but I must also consider the public's perception." She grapples with the dual responsibilities of loyalty and duty. As protests grow louder and media scrutiny intensifies, Elizabeth realizes that the monarchy's ability to survive such challenges hinges on her ability to navigate these troubled waters with wisdom and composure. As she contemplates the gravity of the situation, Elizabeth seeks counsel from her grandmother, who offers a crucial perspective. "Remember, my dear, it is not just about one person, it is about the institution," she advises. This conversation helps Elizabeth reframe her approach, reminding her that her responses must be focused on protecting the monarchy as a whole rather than just addressing individual scandals. The chapter delves into the strategic communications efforts that Elizabeth and her team implement. She learns to use media opportunities to her advantage, crafting messages that not only address the scandal at hand but also highlight the positive contributions of the royal family to society. "We must remind the public of our commitment to service and duty," she declares, recognizing that proactive engagement can help shift the narrative. Amidst the chaos, Elizabeth grapples with the emotional toll that scandals take on her personally. The relentless scrutiny and public judgment weigh heavily on her, leading her to question her decisions and the future of the monarchy. In a vulnerable moment, she confides in Philip, expressing her fears. "What if this scandal defines my reign? What if I am not strong enough?" His unwavering support becomes a source of strength as he reassures her, "You are not alone in this, Elizabeth. Together, we will face whatever comes our way." The climax of the chapter occurs during a high-profile event where Elizabeth decides to address the nation directly about the recent scandals. Standing before the cameras, she takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "As your queen, I must be forthright," she begins, speaking candidly about the challenges faced by the monarchy while emphasizing the importance of integrity and accountability. Her authenticity resonates with the public, offering a glimpse into her resolve and commitment to leading with honor. Elizabeth reflects on the lessons learned from navigating scandals. "Every challenge has the potential to strengthen us," she realizes, understanding that responding to controversies with honesty and humility can ultimately enhance the monarchy's reputation. She emerges from this experience with a renewed sense of purpose, recognizing that her role as queen includes not only upholding traditions but also adapting to the realities of a modern world. Navigating scandals captures the complex journey of Queen Elizabeth II as she learns to confront public controversies with resilience and grace. Through moments of introspection, strategic decision-making, and emotional vulnerability, she discovers the strength of the monarchy lies not only in its grandeur but also in its ability to navigate adversity while remaining true to its values. Queen Elizabeth II discovers the profound significance of family support during her reign. As she navigates the complexities of monarchy and the challenges that arise, she learns that unity within the royal family is vital to maintaining stability and resilience in the face of adversity. The chapter opens with Elizabeth reflecting on her family's legacy as she sits in her private quarters, surrounded by photographs of her parents, her husband Philip, and their children. "Family has always been at the heart of the monarchy," she muses, feeling a sense of pride and responsibility to uphold that tradition. This sense of belonging provides her with the strength to face the growing pressures of her role. As public scrutiny increases, Elizabeth faces several challenges, including ongoing controversies and media speculation about her family's dynamics. One particular incident involving a public disagreement between her younger sister, Princess Margaret, and a close friend captures headlines and sparks rumors. Elizabeth finds herself caught between her desire to protect her sister and her duty to maintain the monarchy's image. "This is more than just family, it's the very institution we represent," she reflects, recognizing the delicate balance she must strike. In the face of these challenges, Elizabeth reaches out to her family for support. She organizes a family gathering at Balmoral, hoping to create a safe space for open dialogue and reflection. As they sit together in the cozy drawing room, she encourages her family members to share their thoughts and feelings about the current state of affairs. "We are stronger together than apart," she emphasizes, creating an environment of trust and understanding. The chapter highlights the unique bonds within the royal family, showcasing the importance of open communication and shared experiences. Philip plays a crucial role as Elizabeth's confidant, offering sage advice during moments of doubt. "We must stand united," he reminds her, reinforcing the idea that their strength as a family can help weather any storm. This mutual support becomes a cornerstone for Elizabeth, reminding her that she is not alone in her journey. As the narrative unfolds, Elizabeth recalls the lessons her parents taught her about the value of family unity. She reflects on her father's reign and how he faced his own set of challenges. He always leaned on our family during difficult times, she remembers, inspired to follow in his footsteps. Elizabeth draws strength from her own upbringing, realizing that the monarchy has thrived on the unwavering support of its members throughout history. The chapter also delves into Elizabeth's relationships with her children. As a young mother, she grapples with the challenge of balancing her royal duties with the need to nurture her family. She strives to instill in them the same values of loyalty and unity that have guided her. My children must understand the importance of standing together, she thinks, as she engages them in discussions about their roles within the monarchy. During a significant public event, Elizabeth observes how her family's unity resonates with the public. The royal family stands together, smiling and engaging with crowds, reinforcing a sense of solidarity that the nation craves. This is what the monarchy represents, she realizes, understanding that their unity conveys strength and resilience to the people. The public's warm reception fills her with pride and reinforces her commitment to fostering family bonds. The climax of the chapter occurs when Elizabeth faces a particularly challenging crisis involving negative media coverage about her family. Instead of addressing it alone, she calls upon her family for a united front. Together, they craft a statement that emphasizes their solidarity and shared values. "We are a family committed to serving our nation," she declares, reinforcing the idea that they will confront challenges together. The public response is overwhelmingly positive, demonstrating the power of their unity in overcoming adversity. Queen Elizabeth II grapples with the future relevance of the monarchy as she initiates a royal commission to investigate the institution's place in a rapidly changing society. Faced with questions about the monarchy's role in modern Britain, Elizabeth embarks on a journey of introspection and evaluation, seeking to understand how the royal family can adapt to contemporary expectations while honoring its rich history. Elizabeth receiving reports that public sentiment toward the monarchy is shifting. The people's trust is fragile, she reflects, feeling a sense of urgency to address the growing concerns. In a private meeting with her advisors, she proposes the idea of a royal commission, envisioning a group of esteemed individuals from various sectors, politics, culture, and the arts, tasked with examining the monarchy's relevance in today's world. "We must listen to the voices of our nation," she states resolutely. Elizabeth's call for a royal commission draws a mix of support and skepticism. Some view it as a bold step toward modernization, while others see it as a sign of weakness. The media quickly picks up on the announcement, leading to a flurry of public debate. "Is the monarchy on trial?" one headline reads. Elizabeth feels the weight of scrutiny but remains committed to the process, understanding that it's essential for the future of the crown. As the commission begins its work, Elizabeth meets with the appointed members, a diverse group of individuals who bring a wealth of experience and perspectives. She emphasizes her desire for open dialogue, stating, "We need to explore the monarchy's role in fostering unity and hope for our nation." The discussions quickly reveal a range of opinions, from those advocating for significant reforms to others arguing for a return to traditional values. Elizabeth listens intently, recognizing the importance of balancing heritage with the need for progress. Throughout the chapter, Elizabeth reflects on the history of the monarchy, recalling the lessons learned from her predecessors. She considers the challenges they faced and how they adapted to societal changes. Each monarch has faced their own reckoning, she muses, drawing parallels between their experiences and her current situation. This historical perspective helps her navigate the complexities of the Commission's findings. As the Commission gathers data and conducts public surveys, Elizabeth is struck by the passionate opinions expressed by citizens from all walks of life. Some share stories of how the monarchy has inspired them, while others express disillusionment with the institution. We must not shy away from criticism, she acknowledges, understanding that true relevance can only be achieved through honest reflection and engagement. The narrative takes a pivotal turn when the Commission presents its preliminary findings to Elizabeth. The report highlights the monarchy's potential to evolve by embracing transparency and actively engaging with the public. We need to be more accessible, Elizabeth contemplates, considering initiatives that could bridge the gap between the royal family and the citizens. This revelation ignites her determination to champion change while remaining rooted in tradition. In a moment of vulnerability, Elizabeth confides in Philip about her fears regarding the monarchy's future. "What if we are no longer relevant?" she asks, her voice tinged with uncertainty. Philip reassures her, saying, "Change is a part of life, Elizabeth. Embrace it, and the monarchy will endure." His steadfast support bolsters her resolve to face the challenges head-on. The climax of the chapter occurs when Elizabeth publicly addresses the findings of the Royal Commission during a televised speech. "Today, we stand at a crossroads," she begins, capturing the nation's attention. She shares the key insights from the report, acknowledging the need for reform while expressing her unwavering commitment to the monarchy's core values. "We are here to serve, to inspire, and to unite," she declares, showcasing her vision for a modern monarchy that reflects the diversity of the nation. Queen Elizabeth II delves into the intricate web of alliances that shape her reign, both within the government and in the wider political landscape. As she navigates the complexities of leadership, Elizabeth learns that the strength of her position lies not only in her royal authority but also in the powerful connections she forges with key figures and institutions. The chapter opens with Elizabeth in her private study, reflecting on the importance of relationships in her role as queen. The monarchy is more than just a title, it is an intricate dance of alliances, she muses, understanding that the future of the crown often hinges on her ability to cultivate and maintain these connections. With the political climate increasingly tumultuous, she recognizes the need for strategic partnerships to bolster the monarchy's influence and effectiveness. One of the first key alliances Elizabeth explores is with the Prime Minister. As her relationship with Sir Winston Churchill has deepened, she appreciates the value of having a trusted confidant at the head of the government. The chapter details their meetings, highlighting the mutual respect and understanding that has developed between them. "Winston understands the weight of my position, and I value his counsel," she reflects, realizing that their partnership is essential in navigating the shifting political tides. Elizabeth also seeks to strengthen ties with other influential figures within the government, including members of Parliament and cabinet ministers. She hosts a series of informal gatherings at Buckingham Palace, inviting key politicians to engage in candid discussions. Building rapport is crucial, she notes, recognizing that personal connections can lead to more effective collaboration. These gatherings allow her to gauge the political landscape, offering insights into the concerns and aspirations of her government allies. As the chapter unfolds, Elizabeth's attention turns to international relations. She understands that alliances extend beyond Britain's borders, and cultivating relationships with foreign leaders is critical for the monarchy's standing on the global stage. The narrative captures her meeting with a visiting head of state, where she skillfully navigates discussions on trade, diplomacy, and shared values. Our connections with other nations must be rooted in mutual respect and understanding, she asserts, aware that these relationships can influence Britain's position in the world. However, Elizabeth also faces challenges in forging these connections. The chapter explores her interactions with members of the royal family, particularly with her uncle, the Duke of Windsor. Their strained relationship serves as a reminder of the complexities of familial alliances. Elizabeth grapples with the weight of past decisions and how they have shaped public perception. How can I reconcile the past while moving forward, she ponders, recognizing that personal connections can have far-reaching consequences. The climax of the chapter occurs when Elizabeth is faced with a political crisis that threatens to unravel the alliances she has worked so hard to build. A controversial policy proposal sparks dissent among key cabinet members, leading to a potential rift within the government. Sensing the tension, Elizabeth takes the initiative to convene a meeting with her advisors and ministers to address the situation head-on. "We must stand united," she declares, emphasizing the importance of collaboration and shared goals in overcoming challenges. During the meeting, Elizabeth encourages open dialogue, allowing her ministers to express their concerns. She actively listens, demonstrating her commitment to understanding diverse perspectives. Powerful connections are built on trust and respect, she asserts, recognizing that fostering an environment of transparency is essential for maintaining alliances. Queen Elizabeth II emerges as a beacon of strength and resilience, embodying the qualities of a role model for future leaders. As she navigates the challenges of her reign, her commitment to duty, compassion for her people, and dedication to the principles of leadership inspire not only those around her but also generations to come. The chapter opens with Elizabeth attending a youth leadership conference, where she is invited to address a diverse group of young leaders from across the Commonwealth. "It is my honor to meet you all," she begins, her voice resonating with warmth and sincerity. The gathering presents an opportunity for her to share her experiences, values, and vision for the future, demonstrating how leadership can impact society. Elizabeth's speech centers on the importance of service and integrity in leadership. She reflects on her own journey, recounting the lessons she has learned from her predecessors and the significance of perseverance in the face of adversity. A true leader is one who serves with humility and seeks the greater good, she emphasizes, encouraging the young leaders to embrace their roles as agents of change. Her words resonate deeply with the audience, igniting a spark of inspiration in their hearts. As the chapter unfolds, Elizabeth engages with the attendees, listening to their aspirations and challenges. She is genuinely interested in their stories, asking insightful questions that encourage deeper reflection. "What does leadership mean to you?" she inquires, fostering an environment of open dialogue. This interaction not only empowers the young leaders but also showcases Elizabeth's commitment to nurturing the next generation. Through various anecdotes, Elizabeth illustrates the qualities that define effective leadership: courage, empathy, and resilience. She shares her own experiences of navigating difficult decisions and the importance of maintaining a clear sense of purpose. There will be times when you will face criticism, but remember, true strength lies in staying true to your values, she advises, imparting wisdom gained from her years of service. The chapter takes a poignant turn when Elizabeth reveals a personal story from her early reign. She recalls a challenging moment during a national crisis, where she felt overwhelmed by the expectations placed upon her. In those moments of doubt, I found strength in the love and support of my family and my people, she reflects, illustrating how vulnerability can coexist with strength. This candid sharing reinforces her relatability, making her an even more inspirational figure to the young leaders. As Elizabeth engages with the youth, she emphasizes the importance of inclusivity and diversity in leadership. Your voices matter, she states, encouraging them to advocate for change and represent their communities. She highlights the significance of listening to different perspectives and fostering collaboration, reinforcing the idea that leadership is a collective effort. Together, you can achieve remarkable things, she inspires, instilling hope and ambition in the next generation. The climax of the chapter occurs during a question-and-answer session, where a young woman courageously shares her struggles with self-doubt in pursuing leadership roles. Elizabeth's empathetic response resonates deeply. I, too, have faced moments of uncertainty, she shares, validating the young leader's feelings. But remember, it is your passion and determination that will light your path. Her words become a rallying cry for those in attendance, igniting a sense of purpose and ambition. Queen Elizabeth II reflects on her reign and the profound legacy she hopes to leave behind. As she grapples with the complexities of leadership, she contemplates the values and principles that will define her impact on the monarchy and the nation, aiming to create a lasting influence that transcends her time on the throne. The chapter opens with Elizabeth in her private study, surrounded by photographs and mementos that capture significant moments of her reign. She gazes at a portrait of her grandmother, Queen Mary, whose unwavering dedication to duty inspires Elizabeth's own commitment to the crown. What will my own legacy be, she wonders, pondering the weight of her responsibilities and the legacy she wishes to forge. As Elizabeth reflects, she considers the core values she wishes to instill in future generations. I hope to leave a legacy of compassion and service, she muses, recognizing that true leadership lies in prioritizing the well-being of her people. She envisions a monarchy that evolves to meet the needs of the nation, one that remains relevant in a rapidly changing world. The narrative shifts as Elizabeth attends a charity event, where she interacts with individuals from diverse backgrounds. Inspired by their stories, she recognizes the importance of inclusivity and representation within the monarchy. I want future generations to see a crown that embraces all, she declares, envisioning a legacy rooted in empathy and understanding. Elizabeth's commitment to social causes becomes a cornerstone of her aspirations for the future, and she resolves to advocate for those who are often marginalized. Throughout the chapter, Elizabeth recalls moments that have shaped her understanding of duty in leadership. She reflects on her first visit to a community affected by economic hardship, where she witnessed the resilience of ordinary people. Their strength in adversity left a profound impact on me, she notes, realizing that her role as queen is not just about maintaining tradition but also about uplifting her nation during difficult times. The chapter takes a poignant turn as Elizabeth contemplates the future of the monarchy itself. She acknowledges the challenges that lie ahead, recognizing the need for the institution to adapt to societal changes. "I hope to leave behind a crown that is modern and reflective of our diverse society," she states, understanding that her legacy will be shaped by the actions taken during her reign to ensure the monarchy's relevance. In a heartfelt moment, Elizabeth confides her hopes for her children and grandchildren. "I want them to understand the significance of duty and the responsibility that comes with the crown," she reflects. She envisions a future where her family continues to serve with integrity, championing the causes of their people and fostering connections with the Commonwealth. "Their legacy will be intertwined with mine, and together, they can create a brighter future," she muses. The chapter reaches its climax when Elizabeth participates in a ceremonial event commemorating her reign. As she stands before her people, she is filled with a sense of purpose and determination. "This moment is not just about me, it is about all of us," she proclaims, reminding those in attendance of the collective journey they share. Her words resonate, reinforcing her commitment to service and the importance of community in shaping a legacy that endures. Queen Elizabeth II confronts the myriad challenges that come with her role as monarch. As she navigates the complexities of leadership, she reflects on the trials and tribulations that have shaped her reign, revealing the weight of responsibility and the personal sacrifices required to fulfill her duties. The chapter begins with Elizabeth attending a briefing on current political issues facing the government. As she listens to her advisors discuss mounting tensions within Parliament and the ongoing struggles of the economy, she feels the weight of her responsibilities pressing heavily upon her. "The nation looks to me for guidance, yet I am but one woman," she muses, grappling with the enormity of her role. Elizabeth recalls her early days as queen, when the expectations felt overwhelming. "I was thrust into a world of power and responsibility at a young age," she reflects, recalling the sense of isolation that accompanied her position. Surrounded by advisors and dignitaries, she often felt a profound loneliness, unable to share her doubts or fears with those around her. "There were times when I questioned my ability to lead," she admits, recognizing the internal struggles that accompany public life. As she delves deeper into her experiences, Elizabeth highlights the emotional toll of leadership. "Every decision I make has the potential to affect lives," she states, reflecting on the burden of responsibility that weighs heavily on her conscience. She recalls the heartbreaking moments during times of national tragedy, where she felt compelled to offer solace while managing the expectations of the public. "How can I be both a symbol of strength and a human being in mourning?" she wonders, recognizing the delicate balance she must maintain. The narrative shifts as Elizabeth grapples with the challenges of public scrutiny. "The press watches my every move, ready to dissect my actions," she acknowledges, revealing the pressure she faces in maintaining her image. She reflects on the early days of her reign when public opinion fluctuated, often influenced by sensationalized media coverage. "It can be disheartening to know that my intentions may be misconstrued," she muses, illustrating the constant battle between public perception and personal authenticity. The chapter takes a poignant turn as Elizabeth confronts the inevitable criticism that comes with leadership. "Not everyone will agree with my decisions, and that is a harsh reality of my position," she states, recalling the backlash she faced during contentious political decisions. She reflects on how these experiences have taught her the importance of resilience and self-belief. "I must remain steadfast in my convictions, even when the tide turns against me," she affirms, embracing the lessons learned from adversity. Throughout the chapter, Elizabeth grapples with the impact of her decisions on her family. "Balancing my role as queen and as a mother is one of my greatest challenges," she admits, revealing the struggles she faces in maintaining family harmony while upholding her royal duties. She reflects on the moments when her children have felt the weight of her title, understanding the sacrifices they, too, have made. "I wish for them to have a semblance of normalcy amidst the grandeur," she confides, recognizing the delicate balance required to maintain familial relationships. The climax of the chapter occurs during a significant crisis, when a national scandal threatens the monarchy's reputation. As the media frenzy intensifies, Elizabeth finds herself at the center of scrutiny, facing calls for accountability. "This is the true test of my leadership," she reflects, realizing the importance of transparency and decisive action in navigating the storm. She gathers her advisors, determined to confront the situation head-on and protect the integrity of the crown. In a moment of introspection, Elizabeth acknowledges that the challenges she faces are not just external but also internal. "Leadership demands a constant examination of self," she muses, understanding that her role requires both strength and vulnerability. She reflects on the moments of self-doubt and the necessity of seeking guidance from trusted confidants. "I am grateful for those who support me, for leadership is not a solitary journey," she admits, recognizing the importance of collaboration in overcoming adversity. Queen Elizabeth II reflects on how history shapes her decisions and informs her approach to leadership. As she navigates the complexities of her reign, she draws lessons from the past, recognizing the importance of understanding historical context in order to forge a path forward. The chapter opens with Elizabeth standing in the royal archives, surrounded by centuries of documents, letters, and artifacts that tell the story of the British monarchy. As she carefully examines a letter from her great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, she feels a connection to her ancestors and their experiences. "I am but one link in a long chain of leadership," she muses, appreciating the weight of her role as a custodian of history. Elizabeth reflects on pivotal moments in British history that have shaped the monarchy's identity. She recalls the tumultuous reign of King Charles I and the lessons learned from his execution. The importance of understanding the will of the people cannot be overstated, she acknowledges, vowing to remain attuned to the sentiments of her subjects. This reflection influences her commitment to transparency and accountability, as she seeks to ensure that the monarchy remains relevant in an evolving society. As the narrative unfolds, Elizabeth grapples with the significance of World War II in shaping her understanding of duty and resilience. She recalls the hardships faced by her parents and the nation during the war, emphasizing the sense of unity that emerged from adversity. "It was a time when the monarchy symbolized hope and strength," she states, recognizing the power of shared experiences in fostering a sense of belonging among the people. Inspired by this legacy, she resolves to uphold that spirit of resilience throughout her reign. The chapter takes a poignant turn as Elizabeth considers the civil rights movement and its implications for her leadership. "I have watched as people across the globe fight for equality and justice," she reflects, acknowledging the importance of standing in solidarity with marginalized voices. Drawing on historical parallels, she recognizes the monarchy's role in advocating for progress and social change. "It is my duty to champion the values of compassion and inclusivity that define our shared humanity," she declares, embracing the responsibility that comes with her position. Elizabeth also reflects on the lessons learned from her predecessors, particularly Queen Mary, whose commitment to duty and service continues to inspire her. "Her strength in the face of adversity taught me the importance of unwavering dedication," she muses, understanding that the challenges of leadership are not new but rather part of a long-standing legacy. She resolves to honor that legacy by making decisions that reflect the values instilled by those who came before her. The chapter delves into Elizabeth's understanding of the monarchy's evolving role in modern society. "History has shown that institutions must adapt to survive," she states, recognizing the need for the monarchy to remain relevant amidst changing societal norms. She reflects on the lessons learned from past monarchs who faced challenges of modernization, vowing to strike a balance between tradition and innovation. "I must honor our history while embracing the future," she affirms, understanding that her decisions will shape the monarchy's legacy. As Elizabeth contemplates her decisions regarding the Commonwealth, she draws on historical relationships and alliances that have defined British diplomacy. "The legacy of the empire is complex, and it is essential to acknowledge both its triumphs and its failures," she reflects. She recognizes the importance of fostering meaningful connections with Commonwealth nations, aiming to create a shared future rooted in respect and cooperation. "We are bound by our history, and it is my responsibility to ensure that our ties are strengthened for generations to come," she declares. The climax of the chapter occurs when Elizabeth addresses her advisors regarding an emerging political crisis. Drawing from historical precedents, she emphasizes the importance of collective action and collaboration in overcoming challenges. "We must learn from the past, for it holds the key to our future," she insists, urging her team to approach the situation with a spirit of unity and determination. Queen Elizabeth II faces a moment of profound self-doubt, grappling with the pressures and expectations that come with her role as monarch. This crisis of confidence challenges her perception of her abilities and forces her to confront her fears in a way that will ultimately define her leadership. The chapter opens on a rainy afternoon at Buckingham Palace, where Elizabeth sits in her private study, surrounded by papers and reports detailing the growing discontent among her subjects. The atmosphere feels heavy, mirroring the storm outside. As she reads about mounting public criticism and calls for modernization within the monarchy, she feels an unsettling sense of uncertainty creeping in. "Am I truly fit to lead in these changing times?" she wonders, wrestling with feelings of inadequacy. As the narrative unfolds, Elizabeth reflects on her journey to the throne, recalling the early days of her reign when she approached her duties with youthful exuberance. "Back then, I felt invincible, ready to take on the world," she muses. However, the weight of her responsibilities has grown heavier over time, leading her to question whether she has the strength to navigate the complexities of leadership. "With each passing day, I feel the burden of expectations pulling me down," she admits, confronting the reality of her role. The chapter delves into a particular incident that catalyzes Elizabeth's doubts. During a meeting with her advisors, she is confronted with the stark realities of a national crisis, an economic downturn that threatens the stability of the nation. As she listens to the voices around her, each suggesting various approaches to handle the situation, she feels overwhelmed by the gravity of their expectations. What if I make the wrong decision, she thinks, the fear of failure gnawing at her confidence. The voices of her advisors seem to blend into a cacophony, leaving her feeling isolated and uncertain. In an attempt to find clarity, Elizabeth seeks solace in the memories of her family, recalling her father's words of wisdom during challenging times. "Your duty is to your people, and you must lead with both heart and mind," he had told her. Yet, in this moment of crisis, she struggles to reconcile her sense of duty with her feelings of self-doubt. "Can I embody the qualities he exemplified?" she questions, longing for the guidance of those who have come before her. As the day progresses, Elizabeth's internal struggle intensifies. She retreats to a quiet corner of the palace, seeking refuge in the gardens that have provided her solace over the years. The familiar sights and sounds of nature offer a brief respite, but they also amplify her feelings of isolation. "I am surrounded by beauty and history, yet I feel lost," she confides, reflecting on the contrast between her public image and her inner turmoil. The climax of the chapter occurs during a private audience with her husband, Prince Philip. Sensing her distress, he gently prompts her to share her feelings. "What troubles you, Elizabeth?" he asks, his voice laced with concern. In that moment, Elizabeth opens up about her fears and doubts, voicing her concerns about leading a nation in crisis. "What if I am not the queen they need?" she admits, feeling the weight of her vulnerabilities. Philip listens attentively, offering words of encouragement. "You are more capable than you realize," he reassures her, reminding her of the strength she has shown in the face of adversity. "You have weathered storms before, and you will do so again." His unwavering support helps to restore a glimmer of confidence within her, reminding her that she is not alone in her struggles. As the chapter progresses, Elizabeth begins to reflect on the nature of leadership itself. It is not a sign of weakness to doubt, she realizes, understanding that even the strongest leaders experience moments of vulnerability. "It is in these moments that we grow and learn," she affirms, gradually shifting her perspective from one of fear to one of resilience. A time of transition, the narrative explores the significant shifts in the political landscape of Britain during the early 1960s, as Queen Elizabeth II navigates the complexities of a changing world. This period is marked by new political figures, social upheaval, and the growing demand for modernization within the monarchy, all of which challenge Elizabeth's understanding of her role. The chapter opens in 1961, with Elizabeth attending a state dinner at Buckingham Palace. The grandeur of the occasion is juxtaposed against the backdrop of a nation grappling with economic struggles and shifting social dynamics. As she mingles with politicians and dignitaries, Elizabeth feels the palpable tension in the air. The political landscape is rapidly evolving, and the conversations reflect a desire for change. "What will this new era mean for my role as queen?" she ponders, sensing the winds of transformation swirling around her. In the following scenes, the chapter delves into the emergence of new political figures, such as Labour Party leader Harold Wilson, who captures the public's imagination with his vision for a modern Britain. Elizabeth observes the changing political tides with a mix of curiosity and concern. With leaders like Wilson, the voice of the people is louder than ever, she reflects, recognizing the need to adapt to the new realities of governance. The chapter portrays her discussions with her advisors, who emphasize the importance of engaging with this new generation of leaders. To remain relevant, we must understand their ambitions, she acknowledges, realizing that the monarchy's role is evolving in tandem with society. As the narrative unfolds, the chapter highlights key events that shaped the political landscape, including the Cuban Missile Crisis and its implications for global relations. Elizabeth watches with bated breath as the crisis escalates, aware that the decisions made during this time will reverberate throughout the world. How can I support my country in navigating such perilous waters? She asks herself, feeling the weight of her responsibilities in a time of uncertainty. The chapter also explores the growing social movements within Britain, including the push for decolonization and the fight for civil rights. Elizabeth is struck by the passion of young activists advocating for change, and she reflects on the monarchy's role in addressing these issues. The empire I once knew is fading, and I must reckon with the legacy we leave behind, she muses, contemplating the impact of colonialism on the modern world. The chapter highlights her conversations with advisors and her growing understanding of the need for the monarchy to embrace a more inclusive vision. In a poignant scene, Elizabeth attends a community event in a diverse neighborhood, where she interacts with citizens from various backgrounds. This experience opens her eyes to the realities faced by ordinary people. I must listen to their voices and understand their struggles, she resolves, realizing that her reign must reflect the values of the nation she serves. The chapter emphasizes her commitment to fostering connections with her subjects, demonstrating her desire to be a queen for all. As the political landscape shifts, Elizabeth grapples with her own identity as a monarch. How do I balance tradition with the demands of modernity? She questions, recognizing that her role is not just to uphold the past but also to pave the way for a brighter future. The chapter culminates in a pivotal moment when Elizabeth addresses her advisors, stating, "We must embrace this transition and redefine the monarchy's relevance in a changing world." Her determination to adapt signals a significant turning point in her reign. A sister's bond, the narrative delves into the complex and nuanced relationship between Queen Elizabeth II and her younger sister, Princess Margaret. Set against the backdrop of royal duties and societal expectations, this chapter explores their deep familial connection, contrasting personalities, and the strains that come with life in the public eye. The chapter opens in the late 1950s, as Elizabeth and Margaret prepare for a joint public engagement at an art gallery in London. The excitement in the air is palpable, yet beneath the surface lies a tension born from their differing lifestyles and responsibilities. Elizabeth, poised and regal, feels the weight of her role as queen, while Margaret, vibrant and rebellious, yearns for a life free from royal constraints. "You always seem so composed, Liz," Margaret remarks playfully as they share a quiet moment before stepping into the spotlight. "Do you ever just want to break free?" Elizabeth smiles, appreciating Margaret's candor. "Sometimes, but duty calls," she replies, acknowledging the sacrifices required of her position. Their exchange highlights the bond they share, a mix of affection, camaraderie, and an underlying awareness of their contrasting paths. The chapter captures their playful banter and deep mutual respect, emphasizing the sisterly bond that has endured despite the pressures of their royal upbringing. As the sisters navigate the evening's events, the narrative shifts to their childhood memories. Flashbacks reveal their close-knit relationship as young girls, filled with laughter and shared secrets. The sisters often found solace in each other, exploring the gardens of Buckingham Palace and dreaming of a future that felt limitless. Do you remember when we used to climb the trees and pretend we were adventurers? Elizabeth reminisces, a soft smile gracing her lips. Margaret's eyes sparkle with nostalgia. Those were our best days. Before all this, she replies, gesturing to the grandeur surrounding them. However, the chapter also addresses the growing rifts between them, primarily stemming from Margaret's desire for independence and Elizabeth's commitment to her royal duties. As Margaret embarks on a tumultuous relationship with Group Captain Peter Townsend, Elizabeth is torn between her sister's happiness and the implications of a potential scandal. "You have to think about your future, Margaret," Elizabeth gently urges, concerned about the potential fallout. "The monarchy comes with responsibilities." Margaret bristles at this, feeling suffocated by the expectations placed upon her. "I want to live, Liz. Not just exist in a gilded cage," she retorts, showcasing her frustrations and the weight of royal life. The chapter portrays a pivotal moment when Margaret ultimately decides to step back from her royal duties to pursue her personal happiness. Elizabeth grapples with her sister's decision, torn between understanding Margaret's longing for freedom and her own sense of duty to the crown. "I can't help but worry for you," Elizabeth confesses during a heartfelt conversation. "This life isn't easy, and I fear for what lies ahead." Margaret's response is defiant yet heartfelt. "I need to find my own way, Liz. I love you, but I have to do this for myself." Their exchange reflects the complexities of their relationship, love intertwined with conflict. As the chapter progresses, Elizabeth finds herself reflecting on her role as both queen and sister. She realizes that while duty shapes her identity, it should not diminish the love and support she has for Margaret. In a poignant moment, Elizabeth visits Margaret after a particularly difficult day, bringing her a small bouquet of wildflowers. "I thought you might like these," she says, her voice filled with warmth. "You deserve to feel free and cherished." Margaret's eyes soften, and she hugs her sister tightly, understanding that despite their differences, their bond remains unbreakable. Voices from the past, Queen Elizabeth II embarks on a reflective journey, exploring the lessons and experiences of previous queens and leaders who have shaped the monarchy and influenced her reign. Set against the backdrop of her own evolving leadership style, this chapter examines the weight of history and the wisdom that can be gleaned from those who came before her. The chapter begins in the early 1960s, as Elizabeth is preparing for an upcoming speech at a historic gathering of women leaders from around the world. Feeling the gravity of her role, she retreats to the palace library, seeking solace among the pages of history. The library, filled with portraits and tomes chronicling the lives of remarkable women, becomes her sanctuary. "What can I learn from those who walked this path before me?" she muses, scanning the titles that line the shelves. As Elizabeth delves into the stories of past queens, the narrative shifts into a series of vignettes, each highlighting a notable female figure from history. The first vignette centers on Queen Elizabeth I, a formidable ruler who navigated the complexities of a male-dominated society. Elizabeth reflects on the challenges her predecessor faced, particularly the pressures of marriage and succession. She ruled with strength and intellect, defying expectations, Elizabeth notes, inspired by Elizabeth I's ability to wield power while maintaining her autonomy. The lessons learned from the Virgin Queen resonate deeply as Elizabeth contemplates her own position as a leader. Next, the chapter explores the life of Queen Victoria, who reigned during a time of immense change and expansion for the British Empire. Elizabeth reads about Victoria's struggles with public perception and her efforts to balance family life with her responsibilities as queen. Her resilience during personal loss and public scrutiny is something I admire, Elizabeth reflects, recognizing the parallels between their experiences. She contemplates the importance of maintaining a sense of duty while nurturing her own well-being. I must remember that strength can coexist with vulnerability, she acknowledges. The chapter also introduces the voices of lesser-known leaders, such as Empress Matilda, who fought for her claim to the English throne during a tumultuous civil war. Elizabeth is captivated by Matilda's determination and courage in the face of adversity. She is a reminder that the fight for one's place in history is often fraught with challenges, Elizabeth thinks, inspired by Matilda's legacy of resilience. The stories of these queens serve as a testament to the complexities of leadership and the sacrifices made for the sake of the crown. As Elizabeth continues her exploration, the narrative transitions to the role of prominent female leaders throughout the 20th century, such as Eleanor Roosevelt and Indira Gandhi. Elizabeth admires their commitment to social justice and their ability to effect change. They showed the world that a leader's influence extends beyond the throne, she observes, reflecting on how these women used their positions to champion causes close to their hearts. Elizabeth begins to recognize the power of empathy and advocacy as essential qualities of effective leadership. In a poignant moment, Elizabeth comes across a handwritten letter from her grandmother, Queen Mary, offering advice on handling public scrutiny and the importance of grace under pressure. In times of uncertainty, remember who you are and the values you uphold, the letter reads. Touched by her grandmother's words, Elizabeth feels a renewed sense of purpose. These voices from the past guide me, reminding me of the legacy I am part of, she thinks, understanding the importance of carrying forward their wisdom. Building bridges, Queen Elizabeth II embarks on a significant journey to strengthen ties with the Commonwealth nations, recognizing the importance of unity and collaboration in a rapidly changing world. Set during the early 1960s, as the British Empire continues to evolve, this chapter highlights Elizabeth's determination to foster connections and promote goodwill among the diverse nations of the Commonwealth. The chapter opens with Elizabeth preparing for her first official tour of several Commonwealth countries. Surrounded by maps and briefings in her private study at Buckingham Palace, she contemplates the historical ties that bind these nations to the British Crown. The Commonwealth is not just a relic of the past, it's a living community that requires nurturing and respect, she reflects, aware of the need to adapt to the changing dynamics of post-colonial relationships. As she travels to Canada, the first stop on her tour, Elizabeth engages with local leaders and citizens, aiming to create an atmosphere of openness and mutual respect. The chapter captures her visit to a vibrant community gathering in Ottawa, where she listens attentively to the concerns and aspirations of Canadians. "It is vital that I hear your voices," she tells the crowd, emphasizing her commitment to understanding the challenges they face. The warmth of the reception and the genuine connections she forges during this visit inspire her, reinforcing her belief in the power of dialogue. In Australia, Elizabeth participates in a series of public engagements designed to highlight the unique cultural heritage of the nation. She attends a ceremony honoring Indigenous Australians, acknowledging their history and contributions. "This is a time to reflect on our shared past and to build a future together," she states, embracing the opportunity to bridge gaps and promote reconciliation. Her heartfelt remarks resonate with the audience, and Elizabeth feels a deep sense of fulfillment in fostering these connections. The narrative then shifts to New Zealand, where Elizabeth engages in discussions about climate change and its impact on the Pacific Islands. Meeting with young activists, she learns about their initiatives and passions for environmental conservation. "Your voices matter, and your commitment is inspiring," she tells them, recognizing the importance of the next generation in shaping the future. This chapter emphasizes her willingness to listen and adapt, showcasing her evolution as a leader committed to fostering collaboration. As the tour progresses, Elizabeth navigates challenges, including a diplomatic incident during a visit to India. An unexpected protest erupts, highlighting lingering tensions regarding the legacy of colonialism. Instead of retreating, Elizabeth addresses the concerns directly, expressing her understanding of the complexities involved. "I acknowledge the past, but I also believe in our ability to move forward together," she states, demonstrating her resolve to face difficult conversations head-on. This moment underscores her growth as a leader, willing to engage with uncomfortable truths for the sake of progress. The chapter also explores the logistical and diplomatic efforts behind her Commonwealth initiatives. Elizabeth collaborates with her advisors to organize a Commonwealth conference, aimed at discussing shared challenges and goals. She emphasizes the importance of inclusivity, inviting representatives from each member nation to share their perspectives. "We must create an environment where every voice is heard and valued," she insists, underscoring her commitment to fostering unity among diverse cultures. Throughout the chapter, Elizabeth's internal struggles are highlighted. She grapples with the realization that her role as a monarch is evolving, and the expectations of her position may differ from those of previous generations. "Am I truly serving the Commonwealth, or am I merely a symbol?" she wonders, reflecting on her purpose and the weight of her responsibilities. This introspection adds depth to her character, illustrating her determination to leave a lasting legacy.